What's happening? Thanks for joining me on this Monday. It is very, very much appreciated. It's a big day in the world of the Patriots, big day in the world of Julian Edelman. Welcome to Everything Pats, a New England Patriots podcast, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here live on YouTube. Let's jump into it with the Super Chat. Our friend Charlie, $10 Super Chat. Edelman to Amendola, one of my favorite moments of his career. Congrats, Julian. Yes, I remember those touchdown passes. I remember that play from Julian Edelman. I was down in Virginia Beach. Remember watching that. Remember the bar I was at going absolutely crazy, bananas. There are so many memories of Julian Edelman in a Patriots uniform, special moments. We'll talk about a couple of those moments. But Julian Edelman, if you haven't heard, if you live under a rock, and thanks, Charlie, for the $10 Super Chat, Julian Edelman today was voted into the Patriots Hall of Fame by fans. Now, I want to make sure that we know that this was a fan vote. This is not the media. This isn't former Patriots. This isn't coaching staff. This is not ownership. New England Patriots fans voted and elected Julian Edelman into the Patriots Hall of Fame. First ballot Hall of Famer is Julian Edelman when you look at the Pats. And I want to start here. Congratulations to Julian Edelman. This is earned. This is deserved. I don't think many people would argue whether or not Julian Edelman is a Patriots Hall of Famer. He absolutely, unequivocally is a Patriots Hall of Fame player. There's no doubt. He deserves to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. Nobody should be upset about him getting into the Patriots Hall of Fame. He had the career he had. He deserves the honor. We should all be happy. We should all celebrate Julian Edelman for what he meant to this football team, what he meant to this organization. A 12-year NFL career. And every single solitary second of that 12-year NFL career was right here in New England with the Patriots. His entire NFL career. He did not leave. He didn't go down to Tampa when Tom Brady went down to Tampa and Gronkowski ended up going down to Tampa. He stayed here. He loved it here. He played his entire career as a New England Patriot, and that matters. And it matters more and more now than it would have mattered 20, 30, 40 years ago. When you talk about the age of free agency, when you talk about the contracts that are being handed out, the marketing opportunities, the promotional opportunities, there are a lot of reasons why guys don't stay with the same team their entire careers. It's very difficult to find somebody nowadays that spent 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 years with the same team. You could find it with the quarterback position because, as we know, ownership teams, they're always willing to bend over backwards to keep the quarterback in town because the quarterback is the quarterback. But it's very difficult to find many players in the NFL that stay in the same place for 10 plus years. And Edelman was one of those guys. So the sustainability of his career, the length, the fact he was here throughout the entirety of it. He also won a lot. Not one, not two, but 3 titles here in New England. Julian Edelman is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. And he wasn't just an innocent bystander during those championships. Don't get it twisted. Edelman was an integral part in those championships. He was one of the driving forces of those 3 Super Bowl winning teams. And you could just think about the moments, and you know that. Obviously, when I talk about the moments, when I talk about the Super Bowl, everybody's going to go back to the Falcons' 28-3 comeback and that ridiculous, absurd catch that Edelman made. That Julian Edelman catch is really the David Tyree catch for Patriots fans. And I hate bringing that up, but it is what it is. The Tyree helmet catch for Giants fans is what that Edelman catch is for a lot of Patriots fans. Because what chance do you have of making that catch? Even if you're an NFL player, the best of the best, what are the chances that you come down with that football? What are the chances that you make that catch legally? 2%, 3%? Just an absolutely insane catch, and that will go down in history as one of the greatest catches that we've seen in a Super Bowl, given the circumstances. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. That catch by Julian Edelman against the Falcons in that 28-3 comeback. He was the Super Bowl 53 MVP, by the way. I was at that game. It's the only Super Bowl I've ever been to. It was not the greatest game to watch, but Julian Edelman was the Super Bowl MVP for Super Bowl 53. He was one of the most critical components to that championship. No doubt. No doubt. So you not only talk about somebody who was here for a dozen years in his NFL career, but you talk about somebody who produced a ton. And in the biggest moments, in the biggest games, he came through. He came through for his teammates. He came through for the fans. He was consistently damn good. Just look at the 3 Super Bowls that he played in, those 3 Super Bowl wins that he played in, 15, 17, and 19. In those 3 Super Bowl wins, Julian Edelman had 24 catches, so that's 8 catches a game, 8 receptions per Super Bowl win, 337 yards, so he's over 100 yards in those Super Bowl wins. He was giving you 8 catches and 100-plus yards every time you won a Super Bowl when he was on the football team. He was Brady's binky, his security blanket. He was vital to this operation. He was vital to this operation for a very long time. And he obviously is one of the favorites of many Patriots fans. And when you look at Edelman's history with the Patriots, historically, he's one of the best receivers that has ever played on this team. Now, I know you talk about different generations, and it's always difficult to compare somebody that played in, the 2010 to 2023 era, the last 15, 20 years, wide receivers, because teams are throwing the football a lot more. There are a lot of prolific passing numbers being thrown all over the place. So the game is different now in 2025 than it was back in 2000, than it was back in 1975. That's what we all understand. We all have to acknowledge that the game was different. So as you talk about teams throwing the ball more and wide receivers and tight ends making more plays and quarterbacks getting more opportunities to make plays, of course, that means production is going to go up. So we need that historical context to remain. Edelman will go down as one of the best wide receivers in Patriots history. Edelman also played during an era where there were a lot of guys putting up numbers, and he also played with the greatest quarterback and I think the greatest football player of all time in Brady. And that's not to sit there and besmirch what Edelman did. Again, he absolutely deserves to be a Patriots Hall of Famer. He is absolutely one of the best players that's played on this team at that position throughout its existence. But when you look at the numbers, I want to put it into context. Edelman, and of course, he played 12 years for the Patriots. A lot of great players didn't play 12 years. Randy Moss. Imagine Randy Moss if he got to play 12 years with Brady, what kind of numbers he would have put up. Banana land. Absolutely banana land. But given all of that context that I think has to be brought up, you still look at what Edelman did as a Patriot, and man, his numbers, they jump off the page. He has the second most receptions in Patriots history. The number 2 wide receiver in Patriots history with catches. Number 2. He has the 4th most yards in Patriots history at the wide receiver position. He has the 9th most touchdowns in Patriots history at that position. And when you think about the size of Edelman, the fact that he has the 9th most touchdowns as a Patriot speaks volumes to his style of play and how he just didn't give an ish. Always willing to put his body on the line. But you're talking about a receiver that's number 2 in catches, number 4 in yards, number 9 in touchdowns. He's one of the best wide receivers that has touched the football field that has played for this organization. And that has to be commended. And it just makes it better. This doesn't make Edelman a Hall of Famer, but I love stories. I love good stories. I love great stories. And the story of Julian Edelman is a great story. It might not be Kurt Warner, who was bagging groceries and then ends up winning a Super Bowl and going into the Football Hall of Fame. It might not be as great as that story. But the story of Edelman is special. The story of Edelman as a 7th-round pick, a quarterback in college. Nobody really knew if he was going to be capable of playing a receiver in the NFL. Could he play the position? If he played the position, would he be okay? Would he be good? Would he be great? No one really knew. This was a guy drafted in the 7th freaking round who played quarterback in college, who ended up becoming one of the better receivers during his career. And I'm talking about through the NFL. Now, he's a different type of receiver. He's not a big-bodied X. He's not going downfield making these catches like a Moss. But Julian Edelman was one of the most consistent, one of the most productive receivers for a stretch across the entire league. A guy that was drafted out of the 7th round, who was a quarterback in college. Think about how much work that takes. The work ethic, the grind, the passion, the resilience. Edelman was not going to relent. He believed that he could be an NFL player. He believed he could be an NFL wide receiver. He believed he could be a very good NFL wide receiver. You don't go from being a college quarterback to putting up the type of numbers and having the career at receiver that Edelman had without caring, without passion, without being willing to do whatever it needed to take to take those steps at that position, to learn something new, to absorb that information, to take those risks, to be willing to put his body on the line going across the middle, not being the biggest guy in the world. The Julian Edelman story is a terrific story. It's a terrific American story. It's a terrific professional sports story. It's a terrific NFL story. From 7th round drafted quarterback to wide receiver, 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and now Patriots Hall of Fame wide receiver. That's no joke. And that speaks volumes about his commitment. And that speaks volumes to his football IQ and what he was willing to do. It's truly a tremendous, tremendous story. All right, before we continue, don't forget to do a few things to help us out. We're in the quiet months now. The draft is over. A lot of people taking a break from football. Don't forget, you diehards, you hardcores, the ones who enjoy the content year-round, don't forget to click that thumbs up button. The more likes means more eyeballs. That's how we take advantage of that YouTube algorithm we always talk about. So don't forget to like as you watch the live stream. Don't forget to like if you watch on demand. Also, don't forget to throw a comment in. I see Ricky jumping in here saying that Brady's trying to recreate Edelman and Tommy Merlot. Yeah, it was pretty funny because a lot of people thought that the Patriots would draft him, and they ended up not drafting him. But there's definitely a correlation. There's definitely a comparison there. And for obvious reasons, with Brady now helping run the organization out there in Vegas, makes a lot of sense, right, Ricky? So don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. All the comments help us with the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe. It's going to be a tough road. We got about 1 month until we get to mandatory minicamp. I'm hoping for 7,000 subscribers by mandatory minicamp. It's going to be a really tough push. Really tough push because, again, it's the quiet time over the next few weeks. But don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. It is vitally important during this quiet time to do those things to help this podcast to continue to build the community. I appreciate every single one of you. Julian Edelman, no doubt, surefire Patriots Hall of Famer. Deserves to be in there. Just waxed poetic about Edelman's career, his incredible story. With that said, I would not have voted Edelman in this time around. And I think Adam Vinatieri should have gotten into the Hall of Fame before Edelman got into the Hall of Fame. It's not to say, again, that Edelman doesn't deserve it. He certainly deserves it. But if I'm choosing between Adam Vinatieri, Logan Mankins, and Julian Edelman, which was the choice that the fans had to make, and the fans have spoken, and Edelman gets in, and he deserves to get in. I'm just telling you my vote go towards Adam Vinatieri. Vinatieri, to me, deserved to get in before Edelman. And I think Vinatieri should have been the guy in 2025 to receive those votes to get into the Hall of Fame before Edelman did, and certainly before Mankins, as much as I appreciate what Logan Mankins did. Adam Vinatieri should have been a first ballot Patriots Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. Period. End of sentence. He should have been a first ballot guy. And what we're seeing here is, I think it's quite clear, a few things worked against Vinatieri in this voting. A few things worked against him to allow Edelman to be that first-time guy, the first ballot guy. And I would begin with the recency bias. People remember what they saw last most. Your memory doesn't get better as time goes on. Your memory is best when it's fresh in your mind. And so when we think about Vinatieri and Mankins is so difficult because he's an offensive lineman. How many people remember Mankins? How many people remember Mankins and what he contributed to this team? How many were poring over the film years and years and years ago to break down the Logan Mankins impact? Not many. But when we talk about Vinatieri versus Edelman, you remember Edelman. You remember him more than Vinatieri for a lot of fans, for a lot of people out there, because we just saw Edelman play. We just saw these incredible plays, the passes against the Ravens, playing defense against the Ravens, playing cornerback and defending Anquan Bolden, the catch against the Falcons, the Super Bowls that I mentioned, the 3 winning Super Bowl teams, and how pivotal Edelman was in that operation. The recency bias. And recency bias helped Edelman in this conversation. It helped get him over the hump because people remember him easier than remembering Vinatieri. Now, you remember the great kicks of Vinatieri. You can watch the NFL Network. You can go on YouTube. But Edelman was out there. He's playing so much. He was a big part of the personality of the football team. He was obviously BFFs with Brady. He and Brady were tied at the hip. So the recency bias was legitimate. And that's why I think that's part of the reason why Edelman got in. I also think Edelman being in the media has helped him. He's ingratiated himself across not only in New England, but all of the NFL. He's on TV doing pre-games and post-games for Fox at times. He obviously has Games with Names, the podcast that he does. That has become very, very popular. That is a very popular podcast within the Patriots world. Has guys on like Josh McDaniels and Bill O'Brien, right? He has these interviews. And the media stuff, the fact that he's out there all the time, the fact that he has really become ingrained. Think about New England fans. I was born and raised in Rhode Island. Spent the first 30-plus years of my life in Rhode Island. Have spent upwards of, 33, 34 years in New England of my life. And we're very territorial. And we care for our own. We look out for our own. And we love athletes that feel like they are part of New England. And Edelman has felt like that. And he's talked about Boston. He's talked about the city. He's talked about the love of New England. He's talked about how the sports fans are different here. He's from California. And he knows how it's different from California to New England. He went to Celtics games. He was a vital part of this thing, right? So he was one of our own. He was one of us. And that helped him as well. He was one of us. He embraced the area, stayed here his entire career, loved it his entire career, and still speaks so highly of this region and the fans and the organization. And so he's one of us. And so when he's out there doing these media things, he's representing the Patriots. He's representing the Pats. He's a Patriot through and through. And so that no doubt helped Edelman versus Vinatieri in this, because Vinatieri did not stay here, as we know. Vinatieri left. He went to Indianapolis. He didn't stay here his entire career. He wasn't always at Celtics games. He doesn't go out and do media and put on the Patriots hat and put on the Patriots t-shirts and wear the Boston stuff like Edelman does. He's not in commercials and he's not a face of New England. Edelman became a face of New England. Vinatieri, he's not that because he left. And again, New England is so territorial and we're so close-knit that when you leave the circle, you're outside the circle. And that also hurt Vinatieri. Vinatieri is seen as the guy that is no longer in New England, left New England, went to Indianapolis, had success in Indianapolis, and there was that second phase of his career that had nothing to do with the Patriots, where Edelman was Patriot beginning, Patriot middle, Patriot end, Patriot post. That's all it is. Patriot, Patriot, Patriot. I also think the nature of the voting hurt Vinatieri here because it's fan voting online. And when we think about screen time, when we think about phone time, we think about the younger generation. So the people who grew up watching Edelman as a Patriot, the people that might have been a little too young during the first iteration, 01, 03, 04, if you were a little bit too young and missed that one, but you started to gain a true appreciation of football, a true appreciation of the Patriots, you fell in love with Edelman, you fell in love with Brady, and now you're a little bit younger, you skew younger, you're on the phone more, you're online more, and you're going to vote. I don't know how many old school fans are going to go out there and go online and find a way to vote for the Patriots Hall of Fame. I would love to get the demographics from the Patriots to see how that breaks down, how many people voted in a certain age demographic. But I would guess that younger demos equal more screen time. More screen time equals more opportunity to vote online. Voting online directly leads you to who gets into the Patriots Hall of Fame. So I think the time when Edelman played and he was a staple here in New England, the people that grew up with Edelman, so to speak, they're more prone to vote online. So I think that helped Julian Edelman as well. But I still think Vinatieri should have been the pick. And I think Vinatieri absolutely deserves it. He should get in. He should have got in this time. I hope he gets in next year. Because what happens if Adam Vinatieri doesn't make that field goal against the Raiders? I mean, you could make the argument that that could change the landscape of the Patriots dynasties. If Vinatieri misses that kick against the Raiders, what happens? You'd still have Brady, but what happens? How did that fundamentally change certain things? The respect that Belichick got as a coach, the belief in Brady because they made that run. There were so many different things that happened from that first championship, from the kick against the Raiders to the kick against the greatest team on turf. If those kicks don't happen, I don't know what happens with the dynasties. They obviously don't win in 01. Maybe they would have won in 03. Maybe they would have won in 04, but I don't know. A lot of the foundation of the Belichick respect and believing Brady could be that guy, a lot of it was built off 2001 and that unbelievable run that they made the Patriots super popular across the country when they were actually beloved before everybody started to hate them because they just won too much. But how would that have changed the dynamics? I don't know. But the fact that we have to ask that question and the fact that we look at Vinatieri making those kicks, that's why I put him in before I put Edelman in. He was there at the launch. He was there at the very beginning. He was one of the main reasons why they won that first championship. And I just think in the order of operations, so to speak, Vinatieri should get in, and he should have been a first ballot guy. What if he misses those kicks? I don't know if we could ever answer that question unequivocally. I don't know what happens. If he misses those kicks, they got to go out, get a different kicker. That different kicker might not have made the kicks that Vinatieri kept making. Just have no idea. And when you look at Edelman and Vinatieri was a great Patriot, but he's also just a great football player. And he's one of the best kickers, and I would argue the best kicker in football history. He's the best kicker in football history. He's number one in points in NFL history. The length of his career, the fact that he was able to sustain that level for so long between his time in New England and in Indianapolis, the amount of kicks that he made, very impressive, but the types of kicks that he made, the experience in the big moments. I mean, how many kickers can you go back and you could tick off 5, 6, 7 kicks that he made, winning Super Bowls, winning playoff games, inclement weather. The guy was nails. If you had to pick one guy to make a kick in NFL history to win a game, I'm picking Adam Vinatieri. And I would have to imagine the vast majority of people would also pick Adam Vinatieri. Now, maybe some people in Baltimore would pick Justin Tucker, but he's the best kicker that's ever lived. And to me, when you're the very best at something, you should be a first ballot guy. You should be a first ballot guy for the team that you played. So I think he should have been a first ballot Patriot Hall of Famer. And I said this going back to the NFL Hall of Fame election process. Adam Vinatieri should have been a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. When you're number one in points in the history of the game, when you've had the type of career that he's had, he should have been the number one guy. He should have been in the NFL Hall of Fame this time around. There's no reason why he should have to come back and go through the process again, whether it's here in New England or for the NFL. The guy's the best that's ever done it. Even if you're not the best that's ever done it and you're part of the top 2 or 3 that's ever done it at your position in the NFL throughout the history of that game, how do you not get in on the first ballot? The dude is like one of one. So as much as I love Edelman and as much as I believe he deserves to get into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and he will get into the Patriots Hall of Fame, he best get into the Patriots Hall of Fame, I would have liked to see him get in before. I would have liked to see Vinatieri get in before Edelman. Edelman, he should be in there. Vinatieri best get in there. But I would have put Vinatieri in before Julian. And as much as I love Julian, and that's part of the process, that's what makes this so tough. It makes it so tough because here's the good thing about all this. The fact that we have so many players that deserve to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame, a number of guys that deserve to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, that tells you how special of a time that we had here over 20 years. A lot of organizations, they don't have these debates. They don't have a Julian Edelman, let alone a Julian Edelman and an Adam Vinatieri. Logan Mankins, again, a little bit different because he's an offensive lineman. He's judged differently, and it's tough to get offensive linemen in any kind of Hall of Fame. When you talk about a team Hall of Fame, they've got to really stand out and be that guy like that jersey behind me. But that tells us in the big picture, that's why all of this is gravy to me. I'm not mad that Edelman got in. I'm not mad that Vinatieri didn't get in. I would have simply put Vinatieri before Edelman. But all of these guys are worthwhile. There's so many dudes that played during the 2 dynasties, during that 20-year stretch. There are so many players that deserve to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. It's incredibly difficult to get them all in a short amount of time. It's just not going to happen. There are going to be guys that deserve to get in that get passed over year after year after year. That's the nature of it when you win 6 Super Bowls, when you have 2 separate dynasty runs. Kind of goes with it. So it's inevitable that some of these guys are going to get passed over, and you say, should have been in there, should have been a first ballot guy. It's only natural given the success that they had with this organization. But I would have put Vinatieri over Edelman. He would have been my pick. I would have gone Vinatieri, Edelman, Mankins. That would have been my order. Vinatieri, Edelman, Mankins. But Julian Edelman certainly deserves it. A great career. Awesome that he gets in as a first ballot Patriots Hall of Famer. The numbers are the numbers. The success is the success. And his story is absolutely unbelievable and is truly special. So shout out to Julian Edelman. I honestly am very happy for him. Can't wait for the ceremony that happens. Him and Parcells. What a tag team. What a duo. But congratulations to Julian Edelman. Certainly deserved. And hopefully Vinatieri gets this honor next year. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Help us out. Drive that algorithm. Looking for 7,000 subscribers by mandatory minicamp. We've got about a month to get there. We'll get there with your help. We've hit our prior goals. We can hit this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Spotify, Apple Pods, friends. Rate and review. Throw comments there as well. We will be back on Wednesday, 3 p.m. live, streaming